入围最佳中长篇奖提名的中国少女女作家天雅，最终成功夺奖。
Hi, Tia. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. I am actually a big fan of your program.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say, after meeting you in person, you're much more mature than an average 13 years old.
Well, I'm not an average 13 years old, as you can see. And I'm actually 14 this year.
Today, let's only talk about you. Tell me more about your books. Where do you get your inspirations?
Most people know that I don't do outlines. When we read a book or watch a movie, you'll automatically search for implications to predict what's going to happen in the future. The writer believes that they have full-on God point of view on the story. They set up the events, ultimately lead to the end. I don't like to predict what's going to happen in my stories. I improvise and the characters go wild and they decide how the story is going to end. And that's why you want to keep reading my books. Beast in the Mirror is a story about dreams. I am fascinated by dreams because they are like a person's own mirror, reflecting desires and the yearning for real life, and protects people against pestilence and evil. But this mythical being has its own confusion and obsession. And that's how our story begins. The protagonist encounters his last nightmare. A young lady on a road trip with her friends on a sunny weekend. But she goes astray into a violent and luring world of assassination, murder, and plunder. She passively transforms from a bystander to a defender walking into a darkness and bloody abyss, becoming an unmerciful, bloodthirsty villain. A hail of bullets and hot sword battles won't replace her. Her desires for slaughtering, her ambition for conquering. Only when her higher forms of life beings appear will she realize how insignificant human beings are. Wars and battles are utterly meaningless in the midst of survival. The real world kind of fades away, and the world they create becomes their reality. The dream devourer tries to change the nightmares with his superpower, rather than devouring it. However, he is unable to reverse the situation. So even though he tries to devour all the negative emotions of the humankind, but he slips into a conqueror's cycle of nightmares that he devoured.
Your second book, Black Lake, is even gloomier than the first one. So can we say this story somehow reflect your own personalities?
I am a kid who loves stories, and often imagining myself as the protagonist. The story about trading our souls with a demon that troubled me for a very long time, and I'm always curious about that soul. What it is, and what's it like. Then, I realized that I vividly remembered the taste of the first bite of popcorn, but every vague memory of my parents. And I only remember the sound of friction from the snow sled ride during my first family holiday. I tried desperately to track back these memories. But after each attempt, I always end up in a frozen deep sea. It is cold and dark. It's cold and very dark. I'm certain that I am not like the main character in Black Lake, trading memories with a demon in exchange for clothes and wine. But in a way, time, maturity, secularism are all embodiment of the demon. We are all paying the price of growing up.
So let's get to the last question. Tinya, there's a rumor that your success is made by a whole team behind the scene with ghostwriting and planning. How would you like to respond?
Let's just say I'm the dream devourer in my first book. The stories you read today are all the nightmares that I devoured over the past thousands of years.
402天涯，哪位？先说一下啊。
哎，等一下，你谁？
我王杰瑜啊，刚楼下刚电话过，哪位？
你一定是新来的，规矩都不懂。我们在拍摄，没看到吗？快出去！
管我是不是新来的，你们有人签没？
你别理他，我帮你签。这人不会说话，你知道吗？你认识我对吧？